know the freaks come out at night. So who you going with for a freak performance in the captain spot? Packers, Bills.
So I'm gonna have to get a little contrarian here because obviously anytime we have the Bills on a showdown slate, we want to invest in the passing game. But I'm going the other way here. I'm going with Devin Singletary. This is a spot where I think he could be sneaky leverage. And he's been operating as a true workhorse back. You pointed this out on our pod earlier this week, but he's been dominating the passing down work. He has 4 more catches in 3 of the past 4 games. So this could be a spot where they lean on him even more. And, the Packers blitz at the 4th highest rate. That's been one way to slow down Josh Allen this year. He ranks 26 in EPA per play against the blitz this year. Now, the most likely outcome is Allen torches this Packers defense. Not going to lie, but there is a path to Singletary having a captain-worthy game here if Allen struggles at all. It's a lower scoring game. So like you always say, you kind of want to tell a story with your lineup. So my story here is, it's a lower scoring game. Devin Singletary has to play the whole game because it's a close game. We've seen, if the Bills start to blow a team out, that's when we see a lot of James Cook. So I'm kind of banking on this being a closer game and having Singletary be the workhorse back here.
Just curious, what makes you think it's going to be a lower scoring game?
Oh, I'm saying like that's the story I'm telling, where that's not going to be the common theme with most people's lineups. Most people want to go with Diggs, Gabe Davis, Josh Allen in the captain slot, and that's the appropriate play. I'm just trying to be a little bit contrarian here by having Singletary. And you mentioned it, if Zach Moss is inactive again, that would make me like this play even more. But this is more of just a leverage play for a lower scoring game. I'm not saying I'm betting the under or anything. It's just meant to kind of like capture that game flow.
Well, you might want to bet the under. Because Ron Torbert is the referee for this game. Ron Torbert has refereed 35 games over the past 3 years. 28 of them have gone under by an average of 6.5 points per game. This year, all 6 games that he has refed have gone under by over 15 points a game on average. He's calling like 2 holding penalties, 3 false starts, like 2 holding penalties. He's already called like three OPIs this year. He hasn't been too offense friendly for some time now. He's the points of emphasis is in regards to some of those offensive fouls are kind of popping up when him and his crew ref these games more so than the defensive points of emphasis. So that's something to keep in mind for this one. But that being said, I think Gabe Davis still has a free performance. I love him in the captain spot. So Green Bay, you mentioned their struggles in run defense. One of their other weaknesses is the deep ball. They are 30th in deep pass DVOA, according to Football Outsiders. And that just, is perfect for Davis. So, and you're also seeing Jair Alexander starting to shadow more. He's been shadowing the last couple of weeks after not doing it much. To start the season, obviously, Justin Jefferson had the big game, but Terry McLaurin did still get a touchdown. So I'm not worried too much about Stephon Diggs or anything like that. But I do think that, if you have Stephon Diggs shadowed by Jair Alexander, it only makes sense to look Gabe Davis's way a little bit more. So I love Gabe Davis in the captain spot, and really one play could pay it off, especially if it is a low scoring game or lower scoring than we think. One play could potentially pay that off. So going with Gabe.
Yeah, I'm never going to complain about Gabe Davis, especially in the captain spot. I mean, as you alluded to, he has a massive ceiling, so he makes a ton of sense there. Should be highly rostered. Who do you think is going to be more rostered in the captain slot, Gabe or Diggs? It's got to be pretty close.
It's probably still going to be Diggs because it's just like it's still the premier wide receiver, and there's a lot more, like as you pointed out earlier this year. I think the public perception of Davis is a lot more split than like in our bubble where we absolutely
we have a very close bubble. But there are a lot of Gabe Davis haters out there. And they have their points, but nobody really hates Diggs. Like there's nothing really to poke at. But with Davis, he has a wide range of outcomes. So that's what we're looking for at the captain slot. So yeah, he has one of the highest ceilings on the slate. So he certainly makes sense.
All right, who do you like for dart throws?
So I'm going James Cook here, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. There are, a range of outcomes. That's how I think about these slates or just games in general. There is obviously the chance that the Bills blow out the Packers. So in those situations, that's when we see James Cook get quite a bit of work. So I'm definitely gonna have some James Cook shares. Plus, the Bills are coming off a bye, so there's a chance they decide this week to give the rookie, a bit more usage. I guess you said he's been struggling in pass blocking, but he hasn't made a dent in, the receiving usage department. Yeah, I think he's only topped a 10% route participation once this season, which is kind of weird because he was a pass catching specialist in college. So this would be a time, if ever, to kind of see his usage increase despite, a blowout. So I think James Cook on the Bills side is a sneaky dart throw play.
Yeah, and I mean he's been in on 23 passing snaps. He's run a route on 21 of them. So like they don't really want to put him in those situations, but yeah, if they could just put him on the field more and he would only be running routes because they don't want to use him in pass pro, which is it's fine for us in fantasy.
Yep, exactly. And then so on the Packers side, I got to go with Sammy Watkins here. The Packers wide receiver room is a mess right now. Alan Lazard looks like he's going to miss. Christian Watson, I haven't seen what's up with him, but he just can't catch a break his rookie season. And Watkins, he's limited in practice, but he played last week, so I fully expect him to play. I think Aaron Rodgers is like talking shit about Romeo Doubs. Like he made some weird comments today where I think he was referring to him. So this is a game where, Watkins is this deep threat anyway. And he's going to be running a 60 to 70% route participation here. So I think Watkins is probably the dart throw on the Packers side. He had an ADOT of 19.8 last week. So again, he's the kind of guy, he only needs 1 or 2 catches to really make a dent. So I'm usually not in on the Sammy Watkins hype train, but I think for this slate, you got to be.
Hashtag revenge game.
Oh, that's right.
How could you forget?
That's the second time I missed it this year. Yeah. Yep. It is a revenge game.
Yeah. On that similar line of thinking, I'm with you. I think, Rodgers made some comments about, we're averaging about 20 mental mistakes per game. Guys who are making these mistakes, their snaps should be cut. And the 2 guys that stand out to me are Romeo Doubs and Amari Rodgers. I mean, Amari Rodgers, just terrible in the punt return game. Had the muff, ran away from another one, got it down at the 1. So this week, for the first time, Matt LaFleur has said that they're going to test out different punt returners. So by a similar token, I'm going to go with Samori Toure. I think he's a candidate to return punts for the Packers, and he was active for the first time. Actually, was in for 1 more route than Amari Rodgers last week. So I believe that Toure is going to take over Rodgers' spot, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Rodgers, maybe not this week because guys are out, but if Rodgers is not contributing on returns, he could be a healthy scratch. So and Toure has been that healthy scratch up to this point until last week, but I think his role is going to continue to grow. 34% route participation in your first game. That's pretty good. So, and he's a slot guy too. So he can, Lazard would have been a guy that with Cobb out, you could kick Lazard inside. And then you could play Doubs and Watkins on the outside. But now Lazard is out too. Your slot choices really come down to Amari Rodgers and Samori Toure. And I think Toure is going to and has kind of been outplaying Amari Rodgers. So I'm going to go with him. I think he's probably a guy Rodgers is talking about should play more, I would think, because he's the guy that hasn't played. Him and Watkins really haven't been able to play that much. So yeah. And don't be surprised if they call up or sign like a guy like Juwan Winfrey to the active roster, depending on health. If he's signed to the active roster, I would look at him as a dart throw as well, just because Rodgers does like Winfrey. Like this is confirmed. So those 2 guys, because the tight ends are just it's a tough sell in this one. Buffalo, always one of the best defenses in the league against tight ends. They rank number 2 in DVOA against tight ends. So tough to go with any of those guys.
Yeah, Winfrey is always sneaky whenever he's activated. So keep an eye out on that for sure.
He's just out of elevation, so they would have to actually sign him.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for the Bills, kind of also going with a similar train of thought, I'm going to go with Khalil Shakir. I think he's another candidate for a post-bye bump that we tend to see from rookies in terms of their playing time. Isaiah McKenzie really struggled in the last game against the Chiefs. he had just 2 catches for 9 yards on 5 targets. And this season, McKenzie in that expanded role, he's known as a guy who, maybe he's not going to win at the catch point a ton, but he's a kind of a gadget player who can get you a lot of yards after the catch. Well, this season he's averaging only 9.5 yards per reception, but just 2.8 after the catch. So, that's his calling card. He's not really getting it done. And remember, a lot of those yards after the catch came on that play against Miami where he shouldn't have had yards after catch because he's supposed to get down. So, I think Shakir could see a bump here with Jamison Crowder still out. And, he's been making more plays. He's been playing, he has 6 catches for 112 on the season. So he does have some upside, especially in a Josh Allen quarterback offense here. So love Shakir, and I love the Cook call as well. I think the 2 rookies coming off the bye, you always have to look for because the playing time uptick because you get to go back and watch the film and give them pointers on how to get better, and they have extra time to prepare. So and it's a Sunday night game, so even a little extra time more than that.
Yep.
So yeah, love the 2 Bills rookies.
Yeah, same here. And yeah, Shakir, like he reminded me when they drafted him of McKenzie, but he's 4 inches taller, so that could come in handy. But yeah, I didn't even realize that he is a rookie coming off the bye as well. So I would not be surprised if we see his routes run, go up in the 40% range. Like, would you say that's the ceiling here?
Yeah, so McKenzie,
I guess Kumaro is questionable. So if he's out, that'll help for sure.
He should be back, but with Crowder still out, they still are gonna have 5 guys active at receiver. I think Hodgins would be the scratch if everyone's healthy. Kumaro would probably come back. He's a key special teams guy, but I think Khalil Shakir would still get the nod over Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
As far as the luck rankings for this one, Green Bay does have an edge here, though, right?
Yeah. So they rank 25th on the season, and the Bills are 11th. Wouldn't really consider the Bills lucky. They just have a good record, and when you're factoring these rankings, you don't really expect a team to win 86% of the game. So just this game has a 14 luck differential gap. So anything over 10 we consider significant. So right now we would lean on the Packers against the spread here as the unluckier side.
So maybe like some Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon contrarian lineups, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not AJ Dillon. It seems like Aaron Jones is taking over this backfield, right? Like his usage has been a lot closer to workhorse lately.
Yeah, well, yes. And I think that's because he's their best offensive player right now. So that should be happening. But it also, Dillon's percentages in terms of his usage and market shares are always going to be minimized in games where the Packers have negative game scripts, and they haven't been in a lot of positive game script over the past few weeks. They barely beat the Patriots, and you lose to the Giants, and then you lose to the Jets, and then you lose to the Commanders. So they've had leads, yes, but Dillon really would kind of come into play if the Packers were actually winning the game, which maybe is still a stretch, but that's why we look at the luck rankings to get ideas of things that could go awry. So I wouldn't hesitate to, and Dillon's going to be the cheaper one too, but I wouldn't hesitate to throw Jones or Dillon in a lineup, maybe not in the captain spot, but maybe Jones in the captain spot, but especially if you're entering a ton of lineups, I think some contrarian kind of Packers winning the game.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I love where your head's at. Like Aaron Jones makes sense just because, he can thrive in any type of game script. The last game, he caught 9 passes. So, he has massive upside in the pass game if they start trailing. But yeah, like if you want to set a lineup where, say, the Packers win the game, you would definitely want AJ Dillon in there as sort of a leverage contrarian kind of play.
All right. And we also got a fullback on this slate. Reggie Gilliam.
That's right.
And he's one of those fullbacks that had every once in a while he'll see a target down the field too. So got to watch another. He's worth of a 1 or 2 dart throws if you're doing the 100 lineups or whatever, because he has gotten a few targets this year, and off the bye on prime time teams have loved to feature these fullbacks and big tight ends.
It's like a gimmick play they've been working on for 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. So they they coming off the bye. You never know. And they extended Gilliam, I believe, in the offseason. So he's definitely a big part of what they do.
Yeah, I would say he's an above average fullback play because he has 3 games this year with 2 or more receptions. He has a
Yep.
touchdown grab as well. So usually don't get that out of the fullback, but he's going to be dirt cheap. Probably rostered on fewer than 1% of lineups. So a team like the Bills that should be able to score plenty of touchdowns, he is definitely in play here.